it to the runway.
Hey everyone, my name is Leomie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Oh, and by the way, I'm not quite sure how this little setup that I have going on is going to look once I go to like watch this video on the big screen, but it just seemed like a good idea at the time. I wonder if you can see how messy my apartment is in the reflection. Kind of. Hey everyone, my name's Leomie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know that I've been on hiatus for quite a long time, but I promise you that I am coming back with more content than ever. I'm trying to do YouTube, podcasts, IGTV, all of that this year, but let me explain to you the turmoil that I have been going through secretly behind closed doors for literally, wow, more than a year now, basically, more than a year, with my brand Lapp. And I actually did film this video, by the way, because if you remember, probably none of you do, but December times I was gonna drop a video just explaining everything that's been going on with my brand. But the day I was going to drop the video, or pretty much a few days, like it was literally a few days apart, I basically received an email from a lawyer saying that they are serving me a legal letter of action, yeah, which had something to do with the story that I'm about to tell you, or was served by the person who is involved in inflicting the turmoil upon myself. And basically that legal letter of action kind of prevented me from being able to drop the video, but I've been waiting now, and I've been waiting, and I've been waiting, and honestly, it's time. I can't be bothered to hold it in anymore because I want people to understand what I've actually been going through. If you saw the first time I filmed this video, I looked so sad. I was so sad about it, and I still am sad about it now, but I'm just like, whatever, man. I'm literally just like, fuck it, because how, like, I'm not dead. He can't come and kill me. Like, he can't come and kill me. And I feel like this video is going to be really good for anybody, honestly, who has a passion, has a dream, wants to start a business, and is willing to do anything to get it there. Sometimes you can just make dumb mistakes. You can trust people when you're not meant to trust them, and believe things that, you know, you get sold stories. I got sold a story, basically. I definitely got sold several stories, and I don't want that to happen to other people, so I thought I would do this video. So Lapp is my brand. It's both a clothing line and a platform. On the platform, women can write about anything, be it sex, relationships, mental health, whatever, as long as you're a woman. And with the clothing side, it started off as kind of like merch, so kind of like printed t-shirts, hoodies, but then I started to develop it, and I started doing a lot of cut and sew stuff. So I was doing everything. So from design, I found my factories, I was doing the customer service. So if any of you guys ever emailed Lapp, like especially during like 2016, 17 times, cussing out the customer service, and you got a nice reply back from Laura, there was no Laura, it was me, okay? Okay? But anyways, like, I was doing everything alone, and it was getting super difficult. And at that point in July, like, I was also low-key a little bit like broke. Well, not even broke as such, but it's just like the brand was doing well, but I wanted to basically be able to evolve it. But in order to evolve a brand, you need real peas, and you need to have like the business side of things set up as well. And like, when it comes to the business side, I'm so bad. Like, I'm bad with maths. Not that I'm bad at it, I just hate it. I hate numbers, I hate spreadsheets, predictions, graphs. Like I idolize Patricia Bright for being so on the ball with all of that, but me personally, I'm not good at it, and I need to like perfect that skill. But at that time, I just knew that in order for my brand to move forward, I needed to either find an investor or find someone to help me out with the business side of things, because it was just getting too much. It was getting out of hand a little bit. And so I'm praying. And then what I thought were my prayers being answered were actually the beginning of my personal hell. So this woman, I don't even know what to call her. Let's call her Susan, yeah? So Susan is someone that I'd known for maybe 2 years. She worked at another really big brand, and throughout the years I'd met with her just to get like advice and do some research and stuff like that. Like, she was very helpful when it came to like learning about just little things to do with my brand and how to improve it. So I considered her to be kind of a friend at the time. And she was like, I'm leaving my current place of employment to work for this other business, to work with this guy. And she was like, he was looking to invest in a women's wear athleisure brand. So I'm like, wow, what are the chances? You know what I mean? In fact, she didn't even say it to me. She didn't even mention that he wanted to invest in my business. She just said that he was really interested to meet me and that maybe he can help me out. But I had no idea at the time that he wanted to invest in my brand. Once obviously I met with him, I realized his intentions, and it kind of just was a whirlwind. And he was literally like, yeah, let's just shake hands now. I definitely want to work with you. I can help you with your business infrastructure, da 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 da. And I believed him because he actually runs some successful brands, clothing brands. And so I was like, wow, this is amazing. He told me to design a collection in like 1 week or something like that. I did it. Like, everything was just like moving so fast. So I thought, I went to New York for a month, and he said that by the time I came back, that my samples of my new stuff should be here. He was telling me that the current factory I was using was telling me that I needed to, basically he just made me feel like I was doing not everything wrong, but he was making it out like he was about to take my brand to the next level, talking about,
oh, your brand's gonna be in Selfridges in like 3 months time,
talking all this shit. But at the time I was eating it up like a porridge, man, wasn't I? Because I was just so desperate, yeah? Do you know when you just like, you just think something's just too perfect, it was too good to be true. And now just playing it back in my head, I'm like, how did you believe this guy? Like, if you saw what this guy looked like as well, you'd be like, Leomie, how did you fall for this? I just believed him because I was like, at this point, anything is better than nothing. I don't have peace to be doing some next collection. Like, I was literally like, this is real peak right now. And on the outside, my brand was doing well, but on the inside, because I hadn't managed the business side properly, and I just felt so overwhelmed. I was desperate, guys. So I started working with him, do the designs. He's telling me he's gonna find me a new sportswear factory, all this and that. And I obviously kept saying, like, it has to be better than my current quality. Do you know what I mean? Like, I need a superior sportswear factory. I just didn't know how to find it. I come back from New York now. Bearing in mind, he was there. He told me I should design like 30 pieces. In the end, I think I did like, I think it was maybe 12 to 15 pieces. Out of that 12 to 15, there was one thing sampled. One. And I'm like, this is a red flag. Because my man was talking about my factory's this, my factory's slow, my da-da-da-da-da, and yet you're struggling to find me a sportswear factory. Or is it that you never looked in the first place? Still never figured that one out. I'm obviously super worried, but at this point I'm like, he's paid for a couple of things, he paid to like restock the website a couple of times, so I'm like, he's put in money, so clearly he must have some sort of plan that's just not been like noted down maybe, or that it's just, you know, teething issues. And that's what he kept saying. And when like little things kept going wrong, he would say it's teething issues. Like, sometimes they'd be sending out the wrong product to people, and I'm like, this is meant to be like, this warehouse is actually owned by you. And this is where I got f***ed up as well, guys. He owned the warehouse where my stuff was being shipped from, and I'm like, how comes how is this even happening that things are getting sent wrong? I don't even have that much stuff, do you know what I mean? But again, I was like, let me just bear with it. He's paid for stuff, let's just stay positive, let's just keep this party rolling. Because again, I felt like, I'm not in too deep, but I'm like, he's already paid for stuff at this point, so I assume that he knows what he's doing. He wouldn't just be putting money blindly into something. So I thought, yeah, so none of the samples are made. So I took it upon myself to start communicating again with my factory, and basically I just started making my own samples and paying for them out of not my own money, but out of the brand's money, because he kept telling me that, oh, the factory that he was gonna go to, like, oh, they're so amazing, their quality's this and that, but like weeks were going on and like no samples were being made. And so I had to do something, so I just started making my own samples again. So it kind of felt like, this is exactly the same position that I was in before working with him. slowly but surely, I started to realize that there was no way that any of the stuff that he told me or promised me was going to come true. And even I don't have any sort of like business experience, and I know that doing XYZ is not going to equal ABC. It's about to equal 7. I started paying my own web designers and stuff like that to fix it, because his guys were always busy doing their own thing. I started paying again my old graphics girl to do the graphics, because it's just like his team were always busy. And then I just realized, I stepped back and I just realized everything's exactly the same, but now I'm doing more work. No, the deal that I was in, I don't even want to say too much about what it was, because it might just f me up if I tell too much information, but it was just bad. It was just bad all around, and it only made sense if this guy was actually going to take my brand to the limit, like take it like out there. But babe, we were going nowhere. We were sinking ship, mate. So finally, he produces samples from this amazing factory that shits on my factory, and da 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 da, and that's so much cheaper but so much better. If you saw the garments that were made, in fact, I'm even going to put pics.
Oh! Somebody! Oh!
What is that? What is that? And this is meant to be a factory that's better than my own trusty Aileen. Nah, that for me was like, Leomie, I don't know what you're gonna do, but you need to just get out of this like business partnership, because it is not working. Then I got the Google pop-up opportunity. This is an opportunity for him and an opportunity for me. So I thought that maybe he would be like a really big support. Did my man even come down to see the pop-up? When I send him pictures of the pop-up, he's like, meh, looks like this, looks like that. I thought it was gonna be XYZ, like completely making me feel like shit about something that was a huge deal to me. I'm like, this is shit. And like, I don't know, like I just knew, I just felt in myself, like at this point, like even seeing his name flash up on my phone just gave me anxiety. I didn't feel happy anymore. I felt like my brand was a burden. Like working with him made me hate my brand, basically. And once I started realizing I was having that thought, and I was like, nah, this partnership, I need to get out ASAP. Of course, throughout this period of time, I was dropping hints and telling him that I wasn't happy with things. I was complaining often. I was telling him like this partnership doesn't seem like it's gonna work. And time again, he would tell me things were gonna fix up. It's all lies. It was all lies. So I started getting my ducks in a row. In January of last year, I started working with Daily Paper on our collaboration behind his back. I started making new designs, and oh, I even just skipped a really huge part. But anyways, I started working on my own designs again. I started making my own shit, paying for all my own shit again. So I was basically essentially back to square one, but I just had this shadow on my back. Oh, by the way, Susan's left. She's moved somewhere else. She still kind of works for him, but she's moved somewhere else now. So the person who even brought me to him in the first place, gone. At this point in time, I'm like, I'm beyond anxious. I'm beyond stressed. There was days when I definitely felt so low. I was crying all the time, because it was like something that I'd worked so hard for. I felt like I no longer had control over it. I felt like kind of a prisoner to my own brand, and it was because Lapp was something that I literally stopped doing my YouTube, my own personal blog. I stopped doing a lot of things so that I could focus my energy onto Lapp. I've invested my savings. I had no money after I bought all my first stuff. I've been finessed previously as well before going into this business partnership. Like, it's not been an easy journey running this brand, and then I felt like I was at my lowest point then, because I didn't even want my brand to do well. So I obviously got the courage, and I just said like, this is not working. And he said to me, this is, I guess, January. Yeah, he said to me like, let's give it 3 to 6 months. And well, he said 3 months. And if you're not happy, then we'll dissolve the partnership. So I'm like, cool. In that 3 months, I just started getting my ducks in a row, because I knew this partnership wasn't working, mate. So I found new people to work with. I just gathered my strength back, do you know what I mean, because I'd been so drained. I designed my new stuff and I started kind of just like getting ready to free myself from him. In that time, I get the Victoria's Secret contract as well, and so that was just like, God had answered my prayers, because I was like, I don't need him, because now I can just pay for everything myself. I can just essentially start my brand from the beginning. Like, no matter how much it's going to cost me, I can just do this alone. I don't need financial support anymore. So I felt like, finally, I'm free. I've got money. I can start fresh. Like, there's nothing this guy can tell me type shit. So I tell him, like, you know, this isn't working out. The 3 months is kind of up. Da, 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 da. Can I get my stuff back? We can work out an arrangement. You know what I mean? Because remember, the warehouse where my stuff is being shipped from, he owns it, yeah? Please tell me why my man's like, nah. Like, nah. I've invested X, Y, Z, and how am I gonna get it back? And I'm like, well, because obviously I'm not really trying to buy that stuff back. Like, that's not what this was. I was kind of a little bit confused, because if you invest in something, sometimes investments just don't work out, mate. Yeah, sometimes you win, you lose. That's the risk of an investment. It's not a surefire thing. It wasn't a business loan, right? You thought that you were investing into the business, so why would I then pay you back money for shit that is sitting in a warehouse? It's stock. And let's remember as well that I was still paying for the website, the graphic designers, the samples. Like, I was still paying for a lot of stuff, the shoots, the everything, the models, the everything. I was still paying for all of that. The only thing that he actually essentially paid for was to restock my website a couple of times. That's essentially what it was. Some of the stock that was in his warehouse was even stuff that I brought into the business. Like, I didn't go there with nothing. Like, Lapp was already a brand that had products. So imagine there's at least in that warehouse, at least bare minimum £1,000 worth of stuff that I had brought to the table, that I had paid for. And he was not trying to give it back. And the relationship just went even more sour. And I had to kind of make a decision at that point. And he basically kept all of my stock. The flight suit, my cycling stuff, all the gym sets, all this stuff. And bearing in mind, some of that stuff I paid for, okay? I'm talking, it was a good few months of back and forth trying to resolve this situation, and it just wasn't working out. So I just said, fuck it, I'll just start this whole shit all over again. Met my new team in July, went to Portugal. Yeah, because that's when you finish dates, I get conflicted. Oh, really? Yeah. Don't you think? Designed all new stuff, like went in a whole new direction. And fast forward now to December, I'm about to sign a huge deal, well, a huge deal to me, with an amazing brand. And all of a sudden I get an email from a lawyer telling me that there's a legal letter of action against me from him, saying that I owe him crazy money, which is impossible, because I knew exactly how much he put into the business, and just all this bullshit basically. But he told the brand who I was about to sign a deal with, and they essentially cancelled the deal because they're like, oh, until this legal action is sorted out, we can't work with you. Please tell me why that was all the way in December. Every single time I felt like something positive was happening, I just got hit with another blow, another blow, another blow. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it made me so down. Like, I didn't even recognize myself at some points, because I just felt so empty. I just felt like, what more could possibly go wrong? Like, if you saw me around the time when I got served this legal letter of action, especially, I was so low. In fact, I remember it was actually Lance's birthday, and we were on the way to like go to his family's house when I saw the email, and I literally just burst out crying. And we were already like more than halfway from South London to East London, and he was like, nah man, I need to take you home. He drove me all the way back down to South London. It was just, yeah, it wasn't nice, man. And it just gave me so much anxiety, because on the outside, everyone's thinking that, oh, Leomie, she's so successful, she has her brand, I'm sure it's going to be coming back anytime soon. I thought I was going to be relaunching in January, but every single time that I tried to overcome an obstacle, it was like another one came, and losing out on that deal with that retailer was a huge blow, like a huge blow, because financially, of course, it would have helped to have them contribute to the cost of me doing the order of my newest collection, you know. It would have been a great look for my brand, and it would have just been like, it would have just felt like finally everything that I've been working so hard for is finally all starting to make sense, and all the hardship was going to make sense. I had already accepted that I was going to have to start the brand from the beginning. I had already accepted that I had lost out on tens of thousands of pounds. I've been meeting with this retailer from July to November, December, do you know what I mean? So to finally nearly be signing that deal with them and to have it just pulled from underneath me, it's just shit. But as hard as it's been a lesson. And I had a driver the other day, Marvin, and he said to me that when you don't go to school for something and you're just learning on the way, all the mistakes that you make, all the money that you lose, you just have to consider it to be your tuition for the school that you didn't go to, because you went to the school of life and you just had to pay some way somehow. And I love that analogy because it's so true, and it's kind of the only thing that kept me smiling about losing out on all that money, was that, hey, I've learned something. So here we are. So I plan to relaunch my brand. I'm aiming for April. I have new designs, I have a new vision, I have a new everything. Just trying to get everything perfect. That's all I've been doing for the past few months now, whilst still dealing with all this other shit. But it's been an amazing lesson to me, and honestly, I am thankful to Susan and my ex-investor, putting that in quotation marks before he tried to use this video against me somehow. I'm thankful because I learned a lot. I learned a lot about people in business. I learned a lot about the structure of business and how not to run a business. I learned to not trust people, and that's something that you know it in your heart, but you just, like, we've all been there. We all know not to just trust someone, but you get in situations where you're so hungry and you're so desperate for things to make sense that you just kind of like, you go into it blind and you expect things to get better and they just never do. You just have to listen to your gut instincts. And when it comes to business, or, you know, if you have a dream or a passion that you want to take seriously, no one's going to go harder for it than you. I thought that I found somebody who loved my brand as much as I did, but that just wasn't the case. This was someone who clearly thought he was going to get quick money from me, or clearly thought that he just met a dumb idiot. Another piece of advice would be to get your trademarks, people. I've seen situations where people have a thriving name and someone goes to trademark it to be like Sly or whatever, and then you have to buy it back, or you get into like situations or whatever. I'm very thankful that I did all my trademarks, and I own all of my trademarks, I own all of my designs, I own my website, I own everything, you know. So I was in a bad situation, but it could have been so much worse. And I remember the point when I had to like forcefully stop working with him, and I had to essentially take down all the items off of the website that were in his warehouse, because I needed to lock him out of the website, and that means that people could no longer buy it, you know. And as as that situation was, I essentially had to just like strip my shop down to what you see now, change the design, everything, bearing in mind I spent thousands redesigning the website to be amazing, and I had to make this basic one for the minimal amount of products. Like, at least I was able to do that because I still had all the passwords, I still had all the banking, I still had all the access to everything, you know. So I just want people to understand that my story is but I'm coming out of it stronger, because I did do a couple of smart things, and I want you to take those things, see the shit that I did wrong, and just discard of those, okay? That's what this video is basically about. Just see what I did right and see what I did wrong, yeah? And I hope that people don't get into shit that I got into, yeah? Thank you so much for listening to my rant. I hope that you learned something, or at least were partially entertained by my turmoil. Please comment below on what you would like to see on my YouTube channel, and also names of people that you would like to see me have a conversation with, just for, you know, future ideas. Like, subscribe, share, all of that. I'm out.